put some data in here. I'll press the T button. I'm going to enter some time for work hours. So let's say that Amanda worked 8 hours on Monday. I'm going to press the insert button. The 8 hours show up here. Now to use the width function, what I did was on the total hours default value, you can see that it's calculating the hours for the days of the week, so Monday through Saturday or Monday through Sunday, and giving the total hours in the total hours section. The next formula we'll go over is the lookup formula. So if you notice here in our entry, you see that the supervisor appears, which is Jimmy Jones. When I select an employee in the employee dropdown, it changes to the corresponding supervisor. If I go to the employee SharePoint list, it's the wrong one. This one. Right here. You'll see the employees' names on the left, city, state, position, and their corresponding supervisor on the right. So when I select an employee from the SharePoint list, it will populate the supervisor. Now let's go back to PowerApps and look at the lookup formula. So it's lookup, and then the data source is the SharePoint list called employee. The column name in the SharePoint list is called employee name. And we're looking at the employee time card dropdown. And capturing the supervisor's name. All right, the next one on the list is the if function. So if I go to clear this, let's add a line. Actually, let me go back. What I wanted to show you is when I select the T button, let's go to the visible property. So that T button will show up when the user selects regular for billing hours. So if I choose another billing type, like say vacation, the T button disappears based on that if function, because they don't need to enter time unless it's regular hours. So I'll show you that formula again. Right here. It's saying if the bill to dropdown is equal to regular, then show that T button. If it's anything else, hide it. So the next formula we'll look at is update context. Let me put some information in here again. So when I press the T button, you notice that the dialog box appears for time entry. And I use the update context formula for this dialog box to appear. I'll show you how that works. Let me go to a new screen. So I'm gonna go to screen 1. Let's insert a rectangle. Let's just say that this is gonna be our dialog box. So what you would do is, let me add another rectangle. Let's say that this is our dialog box. All right. And we want to open it once a button is pressed. So let's create a button. Open dialog. Box. All right. Let's create another button so you can close it. And let me grab some code here. Right here. All right, so the first thing we need to do is create a group. So I'm going to select all the objects for the dialog box. And come over here, right click the objects, select group. I'm going to give the group a name or open box. All right, so now all those objects are in one group. Then we'll go to the visible property of that group. And create a variable. So I call this variable dialog box. This can be called anything you want. Next, I'm going to select the button. And then on select of the button, I'm going to create the UpdateContext formula containing that variable dialog box. So when the button is pressed, the dialog box is going to be equal to true, which will allow the dialog box to appear. So we press the open dialog box, the dialog box appears. Now, we need to set up the close button. So when we press the close button, the dialog box will disappear. So all we do is select the close button. Instead of this being true, we're going to set this to false. Actually, this is the variable here. Update context, dialog box, :false. So I press the close button, it goes away. I press the open dialog box, it appears. So that's how I set up these dialog boxes on the time card screen. Exact same way. All right, next on the list is the filter function. So let me enter some information in here. We're on the week of February 20th through the 26th. So I have hours for Monday and Wednesday for a total of 16 hours. Now let's go to the discrepancy screen. go to that same work week, and you'll see this conditional formatting or this filter has appeared. So by clicking here, you'll see that there's a filter function looking at that same SharePoint list, and there's a column called week, and it just filters based on the week number, which in this scenario is week 8. So if I go to that SharePoint list, TBO time card, it just has one entry. But if we had entries for other weeks, it would filter on the week right here that it's selected. Next on the list is the ForAll function. Now the ForAll is very powerful in my opinion because it allows you to loop through objects in a gallery, just like I'm doing here. When I press the save button, I'm using the ForAll to loop through each item in or each record in the timesheet gallery. And if the bill to dropdown is sick leave, vacation, leave without pay, or holiday, it's going to create the next formula, which is the patch function. So it's going to do a patch on those records and save the information in that SharePoint list that we just looked at, which is right here. So I'll show you how it works. So let's do 7 hours of sick leave. And 8 hours of vacation on Thursday. So I'm going to press the save button. Let's go back to the SharePoint list, do a refresh. You'll see that the information has been saved for those billing types, sick leave and vacation.